podcast.
Is this the end of our civilization?
Prepare for gaming domination.
The mightiest monster of them all!
Grimlock the Dino 9, GameZilla.
Look, there comes one of them now.
Welcome to the GameZilla podcast, your last line of defense in major gaming news. I'm your host, Grimlock, and with me in the GameZilla Media Studios, my beautiful, smooth, best friend, Butterboy!
You build me up and you tear me down. When I needed a build up more than anything, because I'm an incompetent buffoon.
Oh boy, oh boy. Well, anyways, we've had some technical difficulties. We are definitely running
I'm a
late.
technical difficulty.
Like I said, we had some technical difficulties, and we're live on mixer.com/GameZilla Media a little bit late, but we're here recording episode 295 of the GameZilla podcast. All this video work, if you're watching live, done by the wonderful video producer, Player One Miggy.
What's going on, everybody?
Nice. Just that beautiful voice. Love it.
It is nice.
Yeah. Anyways, here we go. I can't believe it's not butter.
I don't need this today, guys. I am not feeling smooth.
You shouldn't feel smooth
Like
today.
butter. Butter is smooth.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We all have our off days. It just happened to be today when I thought I could put this new technology into your hands and you could just mold it into the greatest thing ever for GameZilla. And, you fumbled. I mean, you were like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens this weekend. That's pretty much what you were.
People are going to start calling me fake. Start calling me a flash in the pan.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt.
Yep. So it's okay, though, Like I said, we're not all made out to be superheroes. Some of us have to be those level B, level C Moon Knights.
We're not. One. Don't talk about my man Moon Knight like that. Moon Knight is fantastic. Potentially soon to be played by Daniel Radcliffe. I don't even know how I feel about that because I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies.
You should feel pretty good about that, I think.
All right.
He's got some talent.
What I was going to say
Mine is
is,
Harry Potter.
like Clark Kent is like a reporter and all that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's other people that work at that newspaper or whatever. I'm just one of the other people at the newspaper. I'm not a hero.
You're the janitor.
I'm the janitor.
Got it. Okay.
I
All
would get
right.
at least Jimmy Olsen.
Is that
hair color?
Is that the Daily Bugle? Is that where he works? Oh, no, that's where Spider-Man works.
Yep. We're going to just keep moving on.
I don't know,
Now
man.
you're crossing universes and everything, man. What are you doing? Anyways, welcome to episode 295 of the GameZilla podcast. And my producer just quit. But he's getting a beer. He needs a beer. He's going over to the beer fridge. We want to welcome everybody. We got some exciting new technology. The studio has been revamped. It's not done yet, but it's a lot further along. We got the new Rodecaster soundboard in place. So if you're like, man, these guys sound even better this week, that's why. If you think we sound worse, it's not the board, it's this guy's fault. It's Butterboy's fault.
Oh, man.
But anyways, I'm going to let him take a couple sips and get ready because we need to get right into the news.
I was
Can
gonna,
you do it?
I was going to chug the whole thing.
Yeah, but you might want to talk about Patreon.
Listen. Clearly, we need to start paying someone to do my job because I'm incompetent. So, go to patreon.com/GameZilla Media and support us with your financial contribution, and you get great perks. The real money is at the $5 exclusive content level, where every single show on the GameZilla Media Network presents to you an exclusive podcast that you can't get on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, anywhere else. You can only get it there, including the GameZilla podcast pre-shows that we post a couple of those up there per month. And then there's Behind the DM Screen if you're a fan of Noobs and Dragons, and Smartline if you enjoy Noiseland Arcade. But again, whatever your favorite GameZilla Media show is, there's bonus content there for you. But Patreon starts at just $1 per month, and there's some new $1 perks coming on the horizon we're very excited to talk about soon. So please go to patreon.com/GameZilla Media and start your patronage today.
I'm searching the web for the latest gaming news. Searching MotorCityGaming.com. Downloading headlines.
Now let's have it. What about this monster story of yours?
Download complete.
Topic number one. It's a big one, folks. We are potentially in the final console generation. the final next generation. But wait, maybe not. I read this article today. Okay,
we're in the final. I like the term "final generation."
Final generation of console gaming. What does that mean? It basically, we're summing this up because a lot of the news has just been coming out here in the last couple days about the next gen, the Xbox Series X, the PS5, and all these rumors, and now some of the official announcements that have come out. The interesting conversation that's being had is that the PS4 and the Xbox One was actually our last console generation. That they're considering the PS5 and what the Xbox Series X and Microsoft has come out and confirmed already as the reason why we can't necessarily call this a new generation. It is just an upgrade. It is just us moving along in this ever so slightly evolving world now, similar to PC gaming.
Now, is this under assumptions about the PlayStation 5, or did we get any new facts?
PS5 is assumptions. Okay. Xbox Series X is official news.
Yes.
So what are we talking about here? Xbox Series X. Microsoft has come out and said there will be no exclusive titles to the Xbox Series X system.
I'm ready to go now.
Good. Meaning, this new Halo game coming out, new Halo Infinite game coming out, is going to not only be playable on PC, Xbox Series X, but also the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
So, any of these new games that are coming out for this brand new system, let's say in November, when we don't have an official date yet, but let's just say right around the holiday, are not actually going to have exclusive first-party titles. Third-party companies do not have to play by these rules. If they want to make something exclusive for the Xbox Series X, they can. But first-party will be playable onto the Xbox One. This is the first time we've ever seen this. We've seen backwards compatibility where I can take an Xbox 360 game, throw it into my Xbox One, and play it. But we've never seen a new game. You know, it'd basically be like me buying all that stuff when Gears 5 came out. Bought the Xbox One X, I bought the control, I bought all that stuff. And then Butterboy here went out and bought Gears 5 and just slammed it in his Xbox 360 and played with me.
That's true.
Silly Butterboy.
So
just slid it right in.
With that being said, and they have said moving forward that eventually that won't happen, that there will be some exclusives later on down the road, but that makes sense as the Xbox One ages. But what we're seeing for the first time ever is that for this hard launch of a new device, it doesn't have hard exclusives. And Microsoft's been playing around with this game for quite a while as far as Play Anywhere, advertisements and being able to their first parties be on Game Pass across most of them across PC and Xbox One. This is the first time we've seen it kind of go backwards where ever. We've never seen games go backwards like this. So it makes sense now that the controllers are forwards compatible. We're seeing that the Elite Series 2 can be used on the Xbox Series X. We're seeing this stuff. So the fact that there's a lot of just compatibility across these two devices also makes sense why the games could potentially work across these two devices. Now, you will see enhanced graphics. You will see those extra features and stuff that are going to be on the Xbox Series X, and maybe it's enough for you to upgrade. But the fact of the matter is that if you've recently bought an Xbox One, maybe you don't have to buy the Xbox Series X right away, knowing that you're going to be able to enjoy Halo, knowing that you're going to be able to enjoy these other games that are coming out for the Xbox Series X.
It is a smart move when you look at it from the standpoint of not choking out the sales of your system before the new one comes out, because the Xbox S and X are both at great prices right now. Knowing that you can continue to play the new software coming out is pretty cool.
I think so, and I think it's also not going to really hinder the sales too much, because the excitement for a new device is going to happen. It's going to be there. So I mean, like, if the new system comes out, people are going to buy it. I'm going to buy it, even though I don't need to. I'm going to buy it because it's a new Xbox. I want it. So that's still going to happen. When that first wave of Xbox Series X come out, they're going to sell out. And when the holiday hits, they're going to sell out. So really, now we're talking about, okay, into 2021, maybe sales dip a bit. But because of it, does software sales increase? Because I don't have to buy an Xbox Series X to buy Halo Infinite. That's the interesting piece here. And where does the money lie? Not necessarily on the hardware. It lies in the software. So now if I can play this interesting game where my 20 to 30 million Xbox, probably more than that, but Xbox Ones can now enjoy Halo Infinite on top of all my brand new systems that just sold, Halo should have a very good launch. So that's very cool. I like the idea. It's super interesting to me. I do worry a little bit because this is untested ground. I feel like Microsoft has done this 2 or 3 times recently with the Play Anywhere, with the Game Pass, and all this stuff, and we keep asking the fact, like, how are they making money? How is this going to work for them? And they keep coming around and showing us it was the right decision. You still look at this and go, how does this make sense? Yet here we are, and I'm starting to believe in the Microsoft product more and more and more, and I go, damn, this is pretty cool. It gives me a reason to keep my X. It gives me a reason. How cool is it that I get a Series X. It's backwards compatible, right? I now have 2 Xbox One X's, an Xbox Series X, and an Xbox One S. How easy would it for me to hand you one of those now, because I have way too many.
You do have too many.
And then you pick up Halo Infinite and you're playing Halo with me, and even though you don't have the brand new one. Now I know, but we got the deal with Butterboy. You're going to get one because it has to happen.
It's not happening.
It's happening because you got to get that Butterboy gamer tag, and we got to change this persona. But, I mean, if that wasn't the deal, imagine how cool it would be just to be gifted, a last-gen console like we've done for so many generations. We're going to, that's crazy.
It'd be cool, and it actually affirms something we talked about last week during our predictions. This announcement really makes me believe Halo Infinite will cause Halo to reclaim the throne as the #1 shooter, because not only is it going to be a hot title that everyone who buys a Series X is going to want to play, but everyone who has Game Pass will have that game, and anyone who doesn't have Game Pass will probably buy that game.
And
so we're going to have a huge install base right at day one. Halo Infinite's going to be a hot title, man.
It is. It's going to, what's funny? I'm starting to look at Halo Infinite similar to what Call of Duty Modern Warfare was able to do with the crossplay.
Yeah.
It came out day one, Xbox, PC, PS4 could play. Now you're going to have PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X all together. Like you said, Game Pass, non-Game Pass, all playing day one. That's huge for the Halo franchise, and it's never been a window that Halo's been able to use. It's never had that leverage. Halo 5 came out before Xbox had started to turn itself around, so we have not had a Halo release with this type of flexibility and just ability for reach. So yeah, I think it's going to be big. You start to think about games like Gears of War, which has a very cool pro scene, a very a decent sized community. How can that grow because of this as well? If Gears 6 is ready, say, before they start to branch off into exclusives, if that actually ends up happening, because you also wonder, well, if my Xbox One X is supposed to be able to become an xCloud server, I may be able to continue to play games just via xCloud. And that's another interesting aspect of how this is all going to work once we get more information. Shifting gears to PS5, though, we don't...
Wait, before we do, in a regard, it's very different than anything they've ever done, but Microsoft is pulling the ultimate Nintendo move. Because what has Nintendo done for the entire history of Nintendo? They have taken older technology and maximized the things you can do with it and innovated with it. And what's Microsoft doing? They're taking their huge install base of their Xbox One line of consoles and saying, we're not leaving you behind. We're going to continue to find ways to make this old technology up to date, and you're able to play and continue on. Like that, it's something that's never been seen in the game industry before, and it is a very interesting mindset for a major company to take.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And that leads me into my PlayStation comment and then a developer comment. So PS5, we don't know what's going to happen yet. We know the rumors that we're talking complete backwards compatibility. PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, all playable on the PS5, right? Cool.
I'll be playing Rock the Rink in no time.
Super cool. I hope that is true. We have no confirmation that PS5 games that come out, like, say, Godfall, is going to be playable on the PS4. And if it is, if someone can play on the PS4 and someone can play on PS5, can they play online together? You know, those types of questions are still up in the air. There's belief that they could go down this road, and one reason is the developer. And so the Forbes article that we pulled a lot of this information from was really good by Dave Thier, and he goes on to say, this has been a long time coming. Console transitions are hellish on developers, which have to both work extra hard figuring out how to develop for the new hardware and then turn around and sell those new games to an install base that's a fraction of the size of the previous generation. And they are limiting for manufacturers too. Apple gets to sell people a new iPhone like every other month, while console manufacturers find themselves waiting years to sell new hardware. So now, if you're Microsoft again, and you're presenting to a developer, a third party, and you're actually telling them, hey, you can develop your game, and here's a tool set that lets you not only push it to its limits on the Xbox Series X, but it's also playable on the Xbox One. That's huge from a developer standpoint, especially a developer that maybe doesn't have the resources to worry about this. Like, we talked to a lot of developers at PAX that are like, we have to pick and choose the platform that we first want to launch on, and then we have to hope that it's a successful launch so that we can take those profits, and that way, that's how we can get out onto another platform. You know, that's the game. That's the gamble they have to play. So if I'm a company and I go, well, PlayStation did great on PS4, but the PS5 is brand new and the install base isn't anywhere near what the PS4 was, and there's not the ability, you know, to tap into that unless I make a game for an old system where I can go over to Microsoft and I can just develop this game and just launch it out onto their platform, which would be xCloud, Series X, and the One. That's tempting. And then you can sit there and say, mix that in with the Switch, and I got the best of both worlds at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is a really good move on Microsoft's part. I want to see unit sales and I want to see software sales, because I think overall 6 months into the Xbox Series X, we see a decline maybe in brand new Series X sales. But I think we see software sales setting records. And when your profitability lives in your software, I think then you probably are pretty happy with that, because I think Microsoft has kind of gotten into this boat of, I don't care how many consoles I sell. I just want you playing my games. Play Halo anywhere you want. Play our games anywhere you want. Get on the Game Pass. Use the Xbox app on the PC. Play on your old Xbox One. Play on your new Xbox Series X. I don't care. I want you to be playing the software through our service. And I think it's funny that I think back to our Best Buy days and how service was key, right? Services were everything. They didn't care how many computers you necessarily sold. It was the services on the computer. And you go department by department, and that was the story every time. And I kind of sit back now and I go, you know what? That's what we're seeing right now, is that they're seeing this pure profit level. Because once it's out there, once it's ready to go and it's out there, yes, there's some maintenance, there's some patching, there's some some organic changes that happen in these games as a service now. But overall, it's just money at that point. You're not developing anything beyond it unless you're working on DLC, which you're going to sell, or microtransactions because you're going to buy things. That's the interesting part. You're not having to worry about hardware and overhead. So I don't know. It will be very interesting to see how they do these things, and it's also going to be interesting to see how does Nintendo react to this.
Yeah.
That's the third company that right now we're kind of like, what is their game plan? Because they're good. They're not. There's nothing to worry about right now. But I think if they sit to the side and they watch, I think they fall into trouble quick with what Microsoft's trying to do, and even what is rumored of PlayStation.
Well, you've been playing on xCloud. We've seen that is a viable way to play games in the future, and in the very near future. It seems like the Switch really came at the perfect time, right before streaming was something that was a viable platform for everyone. And it is curious to know what Nintendo's next move going to be. What is Nintendo's next move going to be? Because we're looking at maybe, a Pro model that's being rumored. But if we're looking at a successor to the Switch, that's probably another 2 to 3 full years. Because if we're looking at a 5-year cycle, but I think the Switch has we could be looking 3 years until they release a full successor. Who knows? I think
we're going to see the Switch Pro.
Yeah,
I mean that seems to be pretty much happening here in 2020. But my question more is, what Nintendo always has been behind the ball when it comes to their services, when it comes to their environment. Their Xbox Live compared to Nintendo Online, there's no competition there. Now cost of you have to play into cost. I pay $20 a year for Nintendo Online. I pay much more on the Xbox side. But again, the value, right, and the maturity of the platform. So for me, what does Nintendo do when all of a sudden Xbox is like, play anywhere? I literally right now so I'm in the beta for xCloud. I carry a Xbox controller around with me with a little clip on it. I slap my phone into it. I'm playing Forza. It has already affected my Switch play, and you know this.
A ton.
It already has in a beta form, because I'm playing Xbox level games on my phone with a controller in my hand at lunchtime on a horrible Wi-Fi, and it still works.
Yeah.
That's scary when I look at it from a Nintendo standpoint, when I go, damn, I literally have an investment of $15 a month if I didn't have Game Pass, $15 a month, and then, a $50 controller and a $10 clip. And now I don't have to buy another game. They just keep rolling them out. Mm-hmm. That's a concern that Nintendo has to look at and go, what are we going to add to the Switch? What service are we going to add? What are we going to improve on in our services? Not the hardware. I like the hardware. I like the games, but the services is what I want to see Nintendo try to improve on to keep themselves relevant as PlayStation Now evolves, as xCloud is born, and this stuff starts happening. And there's been an interesting conversation in the Mixer chat. We're live every Monday night, mixer.com/GameZilla Media. But Emperor Titan has been saying that the console is going stale. Consoles are going stale. And AAA games are buggier than ever and have all these problems. And it's just been big letdown after, I don't want to say big letdown after big letdown, but some major letdowns that millions and millions of dollars and thousands of hours have been put into it. And you can sit back now and you can look at a function like xCloud and go, maybe I don't need an Xbox Series X. I can get into the Xbox world for $100.
Yeah.
Buy myself a controller, a clip, and a couple months of Game Pass, see if I like it. It's true. And then you go, wow, Halo was a mess. Wow, Anthem is a disaster. Wow, PlayStation Now maybe gives me access to Last of Us, and it wasn't what I wanted. Things like that I don't have to invest $400 or $500 into a box to try it anymore. And so it is changing in the sense that I think they'll still sell plenty of them. Do I think PS5 can sell what the PS4 did? I don't think it can. I really don't. And I think the Xbox is going to have a hard time as well. But I think both companies know this. And that's why they have these virtual servers that you're basically, these VMs that you're basically logging into and streaming games to your devices, especially as 5G rolls out and these other things roll out. But overall, I think it is a good question to ask. How healthy is just straight up console? How healthy is it? We looked at the Xbox One and we definitely looked at the PS4 as a success story. But as this article puts it, this is the apex. This is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
We're going to go downhill after this. We hear that a lot of times, right? I feel like every generation we have somewhat of a conversation like this. But this one's different because of the services.
It's a different conversation because the conversation is not talking about mobile gaming cannibalizing the market. It's not talking about how games are becoming less popular. It's really just talking about our gaming companies that we already know and love and are loyal to are presenting us with a different option to play their titles.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. And something I would be interested to see if I can look up is I wonder what the average, because I know we are not the average. Even me, I don't think I am the average as cheap as I am. I want to know how much the average system owner spends on video games per year.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that might buy 2 to 3 titles a year, and that's all their new games they get per year, where something like the subscription service where they're paying it every month actually involves more money from that person going into Microsoft's pocket every month. Because, we know we are among a group of hardcore gamers that spend money on video games.
Right.
And that's what I wonder is when we talk about like, how does this financially work out for Microsoft? It might work out really well if you play the averages because we're skewed a little bit by being guys that are really into video games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to find out a lot more here even within the next month because PlayStation has started to hint about PlayStation Days, PlayStation Experience, which is floating around this a month-long event that's going to be happening in New York. So they have the Sony Square there, and they're talking about this month-long event where every day people are going to be able to stop by and enjoy the just PlayStation history. And they think it's going to lead up into what is a PlayStation 5 reveal because they revealed the PS4 in New York. Sorry, they revealed the PS4 Pro in New York. That would be the last system that they revealed. That theater that they use has been closed. They own this structure already, and they think it could happen there. And it's more and more is adding up because Sony has officially announced as of today, this is the breaking news, they will not be attending E3 2020. This is interesting because, yes, they were absent last year. We thought they didn't have anything to show. They didn't have a lot of big punches. They were still developing PS5. They weren't ready to talk about it. Skip it. There was no way they were missing E3 this year. They're just, like, to me, I was like, no way do they miss E3. Maybe they do something like Xbox where they just rent a theater next door, but they'll be at E3. And they've announced officially they will not be presenting at E3. You're announcing before E3 at that point.
You have to.
You have to.
Because if I remember correctly, there was still some Sony-related news that came out the week. There was a few splashes like early in the week and the week before just to get a little bit of attention for the Sony brand, even though they didn't have a main showcase and they weren't part of E3. You would think that they are going to show off the PlayStation 5 because Ubisoft takes the stage. EA takes the stage. Like, the companies that produce games for you are going to want to show off what they're releasing for your system in the fall. So it has to be between now and June that we have concrete details of what the PlayStation 5 is going to be.
Yeah, I agree. They have to get it out there because Xbox already has had that first punch. You have to now level the playing field, and you can't. I think better than anyone, Sega has proven to the world: don't surprise people too late. Don't just throw things out there and expect that people will just catch it like they don't care that they got caught off guard. Sony killed themselves from poor planning and poor promotion, poor presentation, and just throwing out the Saturn, throwing out the Dreamcast, and just expecting people to be like, oh yeah, cool, it's a great product, we're going to jump on board. Instead, everyone was like, I don't have time to develop for this now. I don't have time for this. And we watched things falter. Sony's not going to do that. As much as I like to poke fun at Sony for some of their rough presentations, they're not dumb. And
the only similarity that Sony and Sega have is unsupported peripherals.
Right, exactly. It's very good. But yeah, so they have to make this announcement sooner than later. If they're not going to be at E3, it has to be before E3. Could they do it at a PAX East? They could. It'd be weird, but you know what? We just saw the Xbox reveal at the Video Game Awards, which I never thought was going to happen. So it could happen in March. They could run this month-long event where they just kind of keep teasing, and then they drop the ball early March at PAX East.
What about South? Isn't South the end of this month?
South is...
It'd be unlikely, but if they want to get ahead of it.
Yeah, they've really never had a great presence at South, so, I mean, if day one we start seeing some big Sony presence, then something's up, because they've literally been like... I think Days Gone was the biggest I've ever seen Sony at PAX South.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, but we spent a lot of time on this. We can continue this conversation and what people think is going to happen. Maybe what console you're interested in picking up next gen. Maybe you're like Emperor's Titan and you have no interest in this next gen. You think that the AAA games are a waste of money, and a lot of these companies are just getting too greedy, and they're not focusing where we actually want them. These are all great conversations to have in the Discord. That's right. GameZillaMedia.com. Go to the community tab. Click on that Discord. Talk with gamers from around the world every day. Or if you're live on mixer.com/GameZillaMedia, the link is in the chat. So there you go.
Boom.
All right. It's a very interesting topic. I could honestly probably break some more things down, but we got other things to talk about.
We'll have a lot of this to talk about over the next 6 months leading up to E3.
It's only going to get better. This is some of my favorite times when it comes to the gaming industry, when we get new technology, new software. The race kind of starts over, but this one's just so extraordinary. It's just, or not extraordinary. It's extra because of this next gen of technology with streaming that's going to change everything. So, all right, next topic. We had a Nintendo Direct that turned into a Pokemon Direct.
Yeah.
And Butterboy's going to tell you all about it.
Let me slather you up with some Pokemon goodness. I'm about to melt it down.
There we go. He's feeling it now, guys.
Oh yeah, that one Coors Light that I slammed. It's like I'm like Bender. I need alcohol to function apparently on this show. All right, so we did have a Pokemon Direct last week, and there was a lot of speculation of what was going to come out of this. I can tell you right now what they didn't talk about is any more Pokemon Sleep.
Boo! That's all we care about.
Everyone wanted more Pokemon Sleep, the Pokemon Go peripheral that catches Pokemon while you sleep. It's insane, but that's the world we live in. There was no mention of any sort of remakes from the 4th generation Diamond and Pearl, which are currently swirling the rumor mill that we're eventually going to get. We did get a date for a time window for Pokemon Home, which is the successor to Pokemon Bank, which will allow you to bring your old Pokemon and your Pokemon from Pokemon Go that are in the Sword and Shield decks into Sword and Shield. That's going to launch sometime in February. So we are sometime in the next month and a half, I suppose we're going to get that. Could be a matter of weeks. But the Direct led with something that I guess I didn't see on the rumor mill. I knew a lot of Pokemon fans really wanted this, and that's the announcement that the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series is returning in the form of a remake of the original from the Game Boy Advance era. It's the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games are games I've never played. I know they're sort of a party-based dungeon crawler where you play actually as the Pokemon and go on a little adventure. I don't know why I've never played one of these games. I heard they're a ton of fun, so there is a demo available that dropped the same day as the Direct that I'll have to download so I can start to have a little bit more of an opinion about that series. But that was a little bit of surprise that I know, the portion of Pokemon fans that love that series. We're very excited to see something that we haven't seen a mystery dungeon game since maybe early 3DS, but for sure on the DS. I'm not even sure if there was one on the 3DS. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert on the mystery dungeons, but it's been a while, so people were very excited. And then the Direct really got good. They announced that something that most Pokemon fans didn't think was going to happen, but in my heart, I believe that this was possible because Nintendo has shown us since Breath of the Wild that they will do this now, opposed to a Pokemon third game or sequel to these games. They are giving us an expansion pass, which will introduce DLC to go with Pokemon Sword and Shield for the first time
ever.
Because people were thinking back when Sun and Moon launched, like, oh, maybe we can get DLC. Like, they could actually do DLC on a 3DS, and it didn't happen. They gave us Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Sun and Moon weren't that good anyway, so it's fine that we didn't get it because we have it here, Sword and Shield, and they showed off some really, really cool stuff. We are being given the first expansion, in the first, new area is being called the Isle of Armor, where they show us this really cool tropical island. It's going to be another wild area with another story. You're going to enter this tropical island, and you are going to train at a fighting dojo where you're giving a new fighting Pokemon whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a little bear. And you're going to go through some story content there, but it opens up new raid dens, new wild areas, and between both of these expansions that we're getting, there are going to be over 200 Pokemon added to Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, which again, what did we when people were blowing up about the decks and not being complete and not being big enough? And yet here we go, right? Not that long ago, everyone was just up in arms. They were trying to just veto the new Pokemon game, and now we're expanding by 200 Pokemon. I know it's still not complete, but again, this is what I was saying. Even not being a Pokemon expert, I was like, yeah, but this is the first one on the Switch. Don't you think they want to kind of roll things out as time goes on and keep the game relevant? Well, here we are.
And we saw that with updates to raid battles, with the fact that since the game's launch, we've had multiple time exclusive raid battle events. So they've already shown that this is going to be an evolving and living form of Pokemon like we haven't seen in previous generations. So Isle of Armor is going to drop in June. So 6 months away. I was hoping it'd be a little bit sooner. They're saying it's in development now. And then the other expansion that they showed off is, what was it called again? Miggy just had the graphic up for me. It's on a snowy mountain. And what was it called? Does it say in my article? I don't know. It's a snowy mountain.
It's called the Crown Tundra.
That's what it is. Crown Tundra. Again, it's going to be another wild area. We're on another adventure, and this one showed off specific areas that, if you remember back to the third generation, the Regis are back. The Regigigas, Registeel, Regi-Ice, and they showed off these different temples where you're going to and what seems to be on a mission to catch them. In the announcement, they showed off a Gigantamax Venusaur, a Gigantamax Blastoise. They showed off various different screenshots of Pokemon that we are already familiar with coming back to the game, but also Gigantamax forms for all the starters, as well as return of what looks like Galarian form for the legendary birds from the first generation. That's what people believe that they are, which they look super cool. In the Crown Tundra, there are going to be more group raids where they say you explore the underground dens together. So I don't know if that's going to be you're actually walking around in the dens opposed to just going in them and immediately into a battle. But that's in the Crown Tundra area, you're going to be able to catch tons of legendary Pokemon. I mean, they showed off at least what looked like almost all the old legendaries, that some of them will be battleable and catchable in these dens, which is super cool to see all that. That's going to be really fun. They showed off a couple new legendary Pokemon.
So I have not played a lot of the new Pokemon game, and I own both copies of it. I just, timing-wise, too many games came out around it, and I got distracted, never got into it. this announcement got me excited where I was like, man, I probably should get my time into this game so I'm ready for when this stuff comes out, because I saw things like the Gigantamax Venusaur.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. I want it. And so it's just stuff like that where, and then you told me like, yep, Blastoise has one and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, the new stuff is cool. And that's still technically like a new version of an old classic that I love. So for me, it's actually the old stuff with just a little new twist to it that has me thinking about getting more into it. So yeah, it's I like Fox McCloud Service comment on Mixer here. Yes, the Venusaur bowl cut. It does. Yeah, it looks like he's got a bowl cut haircut going on. Absolutely. But maybe you can reference this, but Ghostwalker on Mixer was telling me about his favorite Pokemon. And it's a bear that was from early on that like they ripped out of the game.
Yeah, so this new Pokemon definitely does remind me of like Ursaring from the second generation, the bear Pokemon, because this new Pokemon, whatever its name is, it is bear related. It does have Ursa in the name. And so this one looks like it's a mix between Ursaring and Pangoro. Yeah. Just from a design standpoint, which is pretty cool.
Right. Interesting. Because they said they removed the bear and then Pangoro came along, which is that's the evolved version, right?
No, Pangoro is a different. There's several different bear Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's 4 now, 5 different.
What was the little guy that turns in the little panda guy that turns into like the bigger
Pancham turns into
Pancham.
Pangoro, but
Yeah.
back in Generation 2 there was Teddy Ursa who evolved into Ursaring. He was the original bear Pokemon, and then they did Cubchoo and Beartick later on. Pangoro.
So why did they get rid of the original bear?
He just didn't make the cut for the new.
You're
new
a bear
decks.
guy though.
I was disappointed. I love Ursaring.
Okay, good. Just wanted to get your opinion on it.
We're now to the point where if Ursaring comes back in this, I think Christoffel, I could have 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I'm at pretty much a full bear squad. I could have 5 bears.
Full bear squad.
Full bear squad. That's what I want. Damn. So and they tied up this. I'm giving you a quick summation of the experience. You can go back and watch the full direct, but they tied it up with giving you a little bit of new content in the game. We've seen for the last 2 generations new forms of old Pokemon. Well, they dropped a little event through an update that allowed you to catch the new Galarian Slowpoke that will be available in either the Isle of Armor or the Crown Tundra. And so you could go to one of the train stations and they run through a real quick little story tease and you can catch the Slowpoke. And I don't know, that's pretty cool. They announced that there's going to be also a new form of Slowbro, a new form of Slowking based on items that you can get in these different expansions. So I'm really excited. I'm sure you can tell by, listen to me rattle off all the different stuff that was in this. And if I missed anything from rattling it off, I apologize. I'd love to talk to you about it in the Discord, but this looks really cool. 2 new wild areas, which is my favorite part of Sword and Shield. A ton more raid dens, a ton more Pokemon added. There's just going to be so much more to play, and I'm excited about it. So Crown Tundra drops next fall. So, we have 6 months until Isle of Armor, then probably close to another 6 months for Crown Tundra. So we're looking at then a full year of support for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. That was a good direct where short, simple, showed a lot of cool excitement and evolving Pokemon in a way that I've wanted to see for a while, and we're finally seeing it now because of the ability with the Switch. And I think it's the less. Like, when you think about the DS series, the DS was a great handheld, but how well did it really handle DLC? How well did it handle expansions on games? Yeah. It wasn't the greatest setup for that. So here we are. They're able to do it, and we've seen it with Breath of the Wild. We've seen it with with some other games. Now we're seeing it with Pokemon, which is really cool. So, all right, you good? You got it all out?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm riding high.
Thanks, it worked.
All right.
Oh, Dexit worked?
Yep.
It didn't work. The Pokemon Company laughed at everyone who was stupid the whole time. Like, we're going to give you more Pokemon. Calm down.
Calm down. All right, let's get into our last topic here. I have not played this game. I've watched it. I don't fully get the why people are obsessed over it. But Escape from Tarkov is a very popular survival battle royale game style, but it's very different in the sense that it's just you're kind of just left to your own to figure things out, to find the way out, and there's no hand holding, there's no radar, there's a lot of things that are missing here. Very interesting to watch someone like Shroud play it. Me, I don't know what I would do, but anyways, it's gaining a lot of popularity. A lot of your big streamers are playing the game. It's definitely starting to gain steam, and there's one interesting issue that kind of got brought up, though. There's no playable female characters in the game. Okay? So, that's the thing. The problem is that the creator decided to give excuses as to why there are no playable female characters in the game. So let's just go over the excuses first. Excuse number one is that the Russian-based developer, and they explained it on Twitter, that playable female characters can't be included because of game lore. It's not exactly clear what that means, but Battlestate is the developer.
Yeah, I like that excuse a lot. That's the laziest. You're like, aren't any girls in this game, so that's just part of the story. Like, what part of the story is that? Oh man, it's part of the story, lore.
So, Battlestate as a developer seems to be suggesting that its game, which is set in a fictional region of Russia and features an armed conflict between fictional private military companies, doesn't have a narrative that supports female combatants. That is despite the narrative evidence of female characters who are present in pretty much every piece of post-apocalyptic fiction ever made. Because, women exist, and is basically every other military survival sim and battle royale shooter on the market you can play as a female. But it gets better because excuse number two is just a bit more straightforward. There will be no playable female characters because of the huge amount of work needed with animations and gear fitting, etc. Yeah, that was the excuse.
I'm not a game developer. That sounds legit to me. I've never made a 3D model. It sounds legit to me.
Let me just read a little bit more of this for you. Let me just get a little bit more of this out here. The developer is getting destroyed on social media, by the way, with these responses. Shocker, right?
That's the way social media goes.
Shocker. Especially considering its previous tweets seem to suggest it had no problem animating in non-playable female characters for storyline quests, thus undermining its lore excuse. Well, so females in the game, you just can't be playable because.
Well, hear me out. It's clearly some sort of like post-apocalyptic sort of thing. And I'm just saying that, the guys are out fighting, ladies are doing other stuff. Maybe there's a lady war in a whole nother country that the ladies are fighting in, and there's just
That'll
a few.
Come out.
Yeah.
It's going to come out in 6 months because that's how they're going to fix this.
A whole nother, it's just ladies fighting. It's lady war.
Okay, so hold on. I got a little bit more to read.
The ladies have already escaped from Terra Costa or whatever this game's called.
Tarkov. Tarkov. You're adding way too many extra letters here.
I can't read. That graphic was terrible. I can read Tarkov there. Go back. Mickey, go back.
I believe you. Put
Take
your
it
arm
back,
down.
Mickey. Show the graphic on Mixer again.
Stop pointing and screaming. You're all out of control.
No.
Listen,
the red.
I have more to read, okay? And this is also curious because Battlestate is only responding to this idea now because a 3-year-old interview with an employee of the development team had been recirculating online in which the employee insisted women couldn't cut it in a high-tension environment of Tarkov.
Yeah, look at that name. It's a Tarkov.
Let's see.
Women couldn't cut it in high-tension environment of Tarkov. We came to the conclusion that women can't handle that amount of stress. Battlestate developer Pavel, I don't even know the last name, said at the time. There's only place for hardened men in this place. Wow. Battlestate has since said the employee was reprimanded and properly instructed, presumably only in how to talk to the press.
He's in a gulag now.
So yeah,
I mean, I've never been to Tarkov. He could have a good point.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm not hard enough to make it in Tarkov. I'm not one of those tough men.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whatever your excuse is in this day and age, when this happens, you just fix it. Okay, you just fix it before it damages your game to the point where it doesn't recover. And I'm not saying it's there yet, but like you don't do this. Like, just build a female character, and even if the armor doesn't fit well, build them, and then just move on with your life.
Grim, you're not seeing that this is a pattern. This is a pattern that's been coming from Russia for decades. Grim, there are no women in Tetris. I'm outraged. I'm never playing Tetris again because there's no women in Tetris.
I always thought the purple piece was a woman.
It might identify as a woman. Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Mike, you got me.
Battle State's response here is not a new one. Nearly a decade ago, developers were making the same exact excuses, most notably back in 2014 when Ubisoft's creative director Alex Amancio said Assassin's Creed Unity wouldn't feature female playable characters in its 4-player co-op because it would add a lot of extra production work. Of course, future Assassin's Creed games, like right after this game, called Syndicate, which was released a year later, featured the main character as a female. Interesting. This was conveniently after former Ubisoft animator Jonathan Cooper chimed in amid the right in the controversy of all this in June 2014 and said it would... Mickey, what are you doing over there, man? You trying to break the mic? We just got a new board. We can't afford another microphone. All right, anyways, amid the controversy in June 2014, it said it would take a day or two of work to add playable female models.
Wait. I'm sorry. I blanked out for a second. Are we still talking about Terra Costa?
No.
Or are we talking about Assassin's Creed? It would take 2 days to add a woman to Assassin's Creed?
We were talking about Assassin's Creed, and an animator, an actual animator of Ubisoft said, yeah, it would take a day or two to add female character models. And now you're telling me fast forward now 6 years in the future, and it's too complicated for them to add a female character to a game.
In Soviet Russia, girls don't play games.
So yeah, I don't know, man. This is it's just a bad look, and unfortunately, it's super in a world that we start to look at things like Gears of War. The whole series was nothing but steroid men, just gigantic muscles, just killing stuff. And yet, the last 2 games, especially Gears 5, where you played as a female, the main character was female.
Yes,
and she was awesome. You can play female in PUBG, Fortnite, Apex, like all these other every other Battle Royale game.
Minecraft.
Every other Battle Royale game.
You play as a woman in Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure can.
And that's the broiest of bro games.
So
if they can do it for COD.
They even put female characters into Battlefield 5, which pissed people off because of the historical evidence that didn't support having females in the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they still did it.
Man, that was stupid that people were mad about that.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, Tarkov, just be done with it. Release the female character, or say it's in development, fix it, and move on. And don't sit here and potentially hurt something that you have a good thing going for you right now. You actually are gaining traction. There's momentum here. So, don't be dumb and sit there and piss a bunch of people off, especially the female side that has started to eat up the industry as far as the percentage of gamers that are female now that could take offense to this.
I mean, hear me out. A lot of other developers have done a great job being inclusive and capitalizing on inclusiveness. What if the Tarkov people are just like, we just want the bros. We just want the sexist bros. That's our audience. We want this community to be toxic, and we want it to be just for dudes. Maybe that's what they want.
No, League is for?
I'm not sure that any actual men play League of Legends.
Yeah.
Roasted.
And just to let you know, the active military allow women to participate including Russia.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't know. I would have figured Russia wasn't didn't let the ladies in.
Nope, not the case.
Even Russia lets ladies in the military.
So now what does Tarkov have?
That's kind of hard to stand on if your nation if you can't stand on the legs that like, well, in our country we don't do that.
Yep, but there you go. Plus you're making a game that's global, so like you can't just sit there and use that excuse anyways. But it doesn't even work. So there you have it. Not the best look for him right now for a game that it has been growing and gaining momentum. I think they just need to just chill out, make a female character, add it, free DLC. Our bad. Here you go. We're sorry. We will listen to our fan base better.
It seems ridiculous because there's an opportunity. As much as I've been joking about how it's not ridiculous, it's super ridiculous because they're leaving money on the table.
That's what I'm saying.
You can get more players. You can make more money. You can sell more items. I don't know if the game has microtransaction. Like the amount of work it would actually take, a real developer would balance out in all the extra money you could make.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna fix this within the coming month or two. Give it 3 months tops. They're gonna fix this. They're going to add wigs to their male characters.
Now we're talking. That works. That's good enough. That's a Band-Aid right there. Long hair dudes, pretty much ladies. I used to have long hair. I know.
You did used to have long hair. I forgot about that. Thanks for
No,
reminding me.
what it's going to be is they're going to have a checkbox at the beginning of the game where you can either check male or female, and there'll be no change to the model. You'll be like, look, females in the game now.
Oh boy.
Oh man, I don't know a lot about this developer because I don't think they've done a whole lot before this game. But again, with the success that you're having, just like what was it, Bluehole that did PUBG,
Yeah,
and Epic. I mean, Epic's been around for a long time, but the Epic success that they had, obviously with Fortnite, that quick success, the explosion that could happen at any moment. You have to be ready. You have to try to predict it. And if this is already kind of a nagging problem, it's not crippling your game, but it's a nagging problem that you literally could take like 2 animators and say, hey, go make a model for us so that we can release it as free DLC. Like, why not? Like, I don't understand why that's such a difficult situation for you to even just say, yeah, let's just stomp this fire out before it turns into anything that's problematic.
Yeah, a real company would be like, oh yeah, that's crazy that we don't have any women in our game. Wow, thanks for pointing that out. Here are some women in our game.
Yeah, I don't know. Big oversight that maybe, I don't know, they assumed wasn't going to become a question, but I don't know how, especially knowing that weird interview was out there from several years ago that has now recycled. Like, that's just bad publicity that like you should have looked at and go, that's really bad. If we add a female character, it can't come around back to bite us in the ass. Yet you didn't, and then you let it come back around and bite you in the ass. Just fix it. All right. That's been our attack on the news. For these topics and much more, visit GameZillaMedia.com and continue the conversation every day in our Discord. Join right on the website, GameZillaMedia.com. Community tab, click that Discord button. Or if you're watching us live on GameZilla Media, right there on Mixer.com, then click the link in the chat. But it's time for a Zilla update.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to give you 1,000% improvement on how awesome that new soundboard is because you're so quick now.
Yeah.
There's no delay. There's no like, oh shit, what button do I need to push? Oh crap, I'm on the wrong software. None of that.
Yeah.
None of that.
It's nice to have a functional tool.
This tool has
do my
improved
job.
your skill.
It didn't improve me though. I've been terrible from the moment I walked in the door today. Next week, I'll be ready next week.
Yeah, Ghost Walker is asking me a question in the mixer. I will simply say, do it now. Thank you. We got a surprise coming for you guys here on the show. When it gets here, I will get it over to Miggy. We'll get it prepped. If you're not watching this live, we'll do our best to describe what's going on. But you might want to come watch the VOD on Mixer.com. All right.
YouTube.com.
Zilla Moments. I'll go first. It's pretty simple. I played a lot of video games over the weekend, but we started getting a little more competitive into Apex. and Owl0 and I started running some games. If you're not familiar with Apex, it's a 3-man battle royale. You can't run duos. You can't run, you have 3 people. We were running with a rando every game. We played 8 games. This is where things got very weird for us, is that I felt like the rust was coming off. I was feeling a little bit better in this game. So we play over the weekend, 8 games. We win 5 of them. 5 out of 8, we are victory for champions.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, there's been one other time in Apex where we won 3 in a row, and I thought that was really cool. But these 5 were dominating.
So that aimbot you've been working on is really paying off for you?
Yeah, the Chronos Max Plus works, guys.
And bam.
Yeah. yeah. By the way, my gamer tag's not Grimlock the Dino anymore because I had to go buy a new Xbox and get a new Xbox Live account.
Oh, so you're the one that stole Butterboy.
Hopefully they don't ban my IP. I'm going to have to move here soon. But no, seriously, I found a good loadout that I really liked, and I started having some really good games. Owl was playing really well. We got a couple randos that hung with us and did pretty decently. And I had my first ever champion while I was the kill leader. So I had 8 kills, 2,000 damage, and the kill leader with the win. And that was kind of like how we ended the night. And I was just like, wow, that felt great. And what felt even extra great was that after I won it, I received a message on Xbox by some rando that was in the game that said, "You suck."
Ooh,
so you know what I did? I said, "Thanks, man. Check out my Mixer channel," and I sent him my Mixer link.
Yeah.
Yes, my hero. My hero.
I was like, "Hey, come watch the VOD where I kicked your ass." Yep.
That's better than when someone was going in on me on Rocket League and I told them to eat a dick in the chat.
That's good too. That's always a good time too.
And then they searched for me on the internet and got my real name, and I was like, well, I really need to lock down my security.
Whoa.
Lesson learned on that one.
All right.
That's when I stopped antagonizing people that antagonize me. That's when I turned off chat. I was like, oh, I can turn off the chat for the people I'm playing with? Great.
Well, that was my gaming moment of the week. I did get to play some League with some friends. That was a lot of fun, but the Apex win streak was just nuts. The win ratio there was unlike anything I've ever done. Hopefully we can keep it going. I'll keep you guys posted. But while I take care of something here on my phone to send to Miggy for a surprise, I'm going to let Deadite talk about his gaming moment of the week.
Wait a minute. Wait. Got the perfect thing for this. Let's see. There we go. Go ahead.
Oh, Miggy's been doing hard work.
Yeah.
For anyone who's not watching the video on demand, over the weekend I took my wife to a local ice carving festival and sat on an icy throne and posed. And Miggy did great work editing out the ice throne, and instead has me sitting on several sticks of butter. Great. Great. Okay, so my gaming moment of the week. I don't play video games anymore because I quit. No, I filled up my Pokedex. I hit 400 Pokemon in the Pokedex. I haven't had a full Pokedex, completely full Pokedex in at least a few games, so that felt really good. It's super attainable in this game. If you at least have one friend with an opposite copy of the game, you can get all your exclusives. It's really easy to get all the evolutions in this game because there's so many Pokemon available in the wild area that you would normally have to trade for. So it's really only 20 or 30 Pokemon that are even a challenge to try to acquire. So, my wife and I traded our legendaries at the same time to complete our Pokedex. So it was nice because she really wanted to finish that before I did. So, made sure I waited to the last day to catch my legendary just to make sure we finish at the same time. So, that was good. It was nice to close that chapter and be like, okay, it took me 99 hours to fill my Pokedex. So I went hard on Pokemon over the last 2 months. And it was literally the next day that the direct hit with the DLC. And I was like, good. I just finished, I closed the door on Pokemon. I can take a little bit of a break and still do some raids and have some fun playing with other people, but I don't feel driven to need to grind right now. And then I'll be ready here in a few months for when the DLC drops. So I was able to, spend some time getting back into Star Wars. I got back to Link's Awakening, so just getting into some games that I put down, on the Switch, speaking of Link's Awakening. So, getting back into some story games. I have played the Song of the Windfish, and now I'm in that part. So I'll probably have Link's Awakening hopefully done in the next 48 to 72 hours, depending on what time I put into it. But I don't know. It's nice to feel like I have another gaming accomplishment because we know that I am notorious for never completing games. So it's good that I'm still going hard on the Star Wars story, and I'm back into Zelda trying to close some stuff out. So
nice, Miggy. What do you got for us? And then I'll get these sent over to you, hopefully.
Well, nothing much. I've been spent the weekend trying to recover from this little cold that I had, but Saturday I kind of dragged myself out of the bed into my chair, and I tried to get some Forza in. Wasn't having much luck at that, and then I decided to play some Subnautica. And let me tell you, I got all of the FC hype when I was streaming Subnautica. Picked up a ton of new followers, so it was pretty great. Streamed that low energy. Had to apologize because I wasn't my usual animated self. But it was nice. Had one person that stuck around. They guided me through like what to do, where to start, which items I need to be paying attention for. And they were based on my personal tutorial, and I appreciated them for that. It stuck with me for almost like the full 2 hours. So the game was a lot of fun. It's a water world. You're basically, if you're not familiar with it,
so you're fighting people that are evil and called smokers, and you're the mariner, and you have gills.
You have to drink your own urine.
Yeah,
but basically, if you're not familiar with the game, this is I guess it's like the future or whatever, but you're in a spaceship, it gets attacked, and it's getting ready to go down, and the ship basically, everyone gets in escape pods and lands on the nearest planet, which happens to be completely covered by water. There's no dry land in sight. So when your pod lands, you climb out, you look in the distance, you see the crashed ship, and you have to survive. So as you're harvesting material underwater, like finding minerals and finding different things, like different fish can take care of different attributes. You can turn fish into water. You can certain fish will fill you up. It's amazing. But as you progress, you're starting to find different members of your crew, and they send a distress beacon. You go to them, and you find out what happens to them. It's really cool. It gives me a little bit of anxiety because I don't do well like underwater scenarios because I can't swim. So but it's not as bad as what is that pirate game that we play? Sea of Thieves. It's not as bad as that because when you swim in that water, you look down and there's nothing but the abyss, and you don't know what's down there. That really messes with me. But
it's not bad. It's not that bad yet.
Oh boy,
I've watched FC play a lot of that. That game looks like a lot of fun, but also stressful.
Really? It sounds really cool.
Okay, well I'm just at the point where I think next playthrough I'll be ready to start building things and venturing out more. So
the one tip I'll give you is always make sure that you completely stop your submarine.
Okay.
I watched FC get out of move in the submarine, not stop it all the way, get out of the submarine, and then the submarine kill him. So don't do that. I've learned from FC that's a bad thing. But I did send you some images there via the Discord private message. So take a look at those fired up because we have a special surprise to share live on the show. For all of us, actually. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, look at Miggy. Miggy's like, yeah, I'm into this. But, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just say these are our gaming moments. We like to share them every week with you guys here on the podcast right near the end of the show, but we want to always hear what you guys are up to, and the best way to do that is in the Discord. We hang out there every day when we're not doing the podcast. That's where you can find out things like when I'm streaming, when Player One Miggy's going live, Spidey2KX, Owl Zero, Matrix on Stage, Craig WK, all these people that are part of our community that stream amazing content. It's all available right, and you can get first notification right there on the Discord. So if you're looking for additional shows, additional podcasts, YouTube content, blogs, things like that, it's all at GameZillaMedia.com. So we'd appreciate you stopping by, checking it out, leaving a comment, and then wherever you listen to the podcast, give us a review, 5 stars, a heart emoji, whatever you can do. we greatly appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, it would do a lot for us, especially if you're unable to support us on Patreon. We totally understand that. If you could just take the 2 minutes of your day to write us a review and give us some stars on whatever app you listen to us, that actually helps us reach a lot of people, and that's really appreciated.
Yeah. Well, Miggy finalizes this here. I'm just gonna also say, League of Legends was a lot of fun. We got to play with some followers. So it was a League of Legends community night. We got player one Miggy back into League, who has taken a break from it for a while. We got,
so much fun.
We got Sean Flack playing it again.
I can't boo my man Sean Flack.
Yeah. So a lot of people that were getting back. The season's about to start, season 10 of League of Legends. So that the excitement kind of around all the changes and the new champs that are out. People are really kind of enjoying it and getting into it and getting ready for the season here. I think Owl and I'll start doing our ranked matches here soon. Don't look.
Boo. I'll just go back to booing you on League of Legends.
Yeah. But anyways, so we started trying to do some fun stuff on community night where we just went in and we would pick characters. I'm like, I'm going to go, Lucian, one of my favorites, and Owl would just pick one of the new champs that's like Lucian's wife, who he's never played. And she does technically play support, but she's kind of an aggressive support. And before I knew it, I was 12-0-2, and we were just dominating our lane. And I'm like, wow, is this a thing, or are these people just really bad? And so, but we had an amazing round. 12-0-2, I'm like, oh my, it's a normal game. It's not like an ARAM game. It's normal.
I figured you were playing ARAM.
No, and I'm like, okay, I'm really excited. This could be my S rank. I need one more S rank. So when you get a champ, right, each champ levels itself. So the more you play a champ, the higher level it gets. Once you get to level 5, to get to level 6 and level 7, the only way you do is you have to get S ranks on that champ. And then you have to basically hit, you get 2 of those, and then you cash those in to then level again. I have 1. And I've been trying to get that second one forever. I'm 12-0-2 with like almost 100 CS. The other team forfeits. We just are rolling. I get an A-.
Ooh.
But someone got an S-, which would have counted. An S- would have been enough. Someone got an S- on my team. It was Owl. He was 3-1-2.
Yeah, but he's supporting
with 8 CS.
I don't know what that means.
That's how many little minions you kill in the game. I had 81.
What a stupid game.
He gets an S-, and I got an A-.
League.
What the hell? I just want my level 6 icon. It's not even level 7.
Just don't play it ever again.
I quit. I'm uninstalling
There you go.
the game.
Yes, that's what I want.
Oh my goodness. All right, so let me get the first image is lined up. So let me just give a little bit of feedback here. Last week, you got to see the Grimlock card that was designed by Ghostwalker 2552.
Our man,
our Forza buddy. And he tuned into the podcast, had a really good time, was his first time hanging out here, and came up with an idea that he wanted to surprise us with and get ready. And so that's what we're about to show you is what he created. So that's gonna happen here in just a minute. Mickey's setting it up, but I just wanted to give credit where credit's due. Ghostwalker doing some amazing stuff. I know he's made some additional cards for some of the other streamers here on GameZilla Media. I think Owl got a teaser photo of a 69 Charger with like this really cool owl design on the hood, and that was after Owl had started talking about what, if you could get a car, if you could use any car in the game or whatever, what would it be? He was popping it out there. So don't look.
Avert your eyes.
Very special image.
Yes, very special.
But yeah, so he may or may not have seen it, guys. That's all I'm saying. Look at this reaction right now and understand that this excitement that is about to happen. Look at the face. It's about to go down. You're about to see why this guy just had that reaction.
It's a shame that this soundboard's first show is going to be my last show. Why did I come to help set this thing up? I should have just quit before the show.
I don't know, but I'm so thankful that you did. Yeah, so Anyways,
All right, guys.
are we ready? I think we're about ready. Here it is. We're going to explain this to our viewers or not to our viewers, but to our listeners on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. We're there. Here we go. Welcome to GameZilla Mobile.
Man.
It's a Raptor. I'm already into that.
I'm real into that.
It's got the red, black, and white design here. We got GameZilla just ripping up the side of the car. Our old school like silhouette GameZilla, with the controllers as a spine, all that stuff.
It's a Ford Raptor. To be specific, we're looking at a dope
Raptor dinosaur.
We're looking at a dope custom truck. All GameZilla out.
All right, here's the back end of it. We got the logo. We got Ghost's signature image here. We got the Ford Oval tag. We got GameZillaMedia.com on the bottom because you got to advertise. It's very important.
Got to let them know.
Got to let them know.
It's a website.
Yeah, we're gonna roll it around. Next, feed me the next image. Let's go. Here it is. The key piece is the cab on the bed. You got that cap. You got Grimlock. You got Player One Miggy, and of course, Splatter and Butter. You got Butter Boy. Butter Boy. That's right, Butter Boy, getting that prime real estate right there. Making it official. It's official now. You're on a car, man.
I used to be an honorable Deadite Knight, and now I'm reduced to being a sloppy Butter Boy.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, and then, of course, we got to advertise that we're on Mixer, so when we're driving around the GameZilla Mobile, people can tune in the Mixer and check out the podcast. This thing's sweet.
It is sweet.
This thing is sweet.
I cannot wait to start driving this.
I cannot wait to start driving it. Yes. Yes. But
it's super cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Thank you again to Ghostwalker2552. Every time you surprise us with something, it's amazing. So I've seen the teasers for Owl's vehicle. I know you made the Grimlock mobile, which was amazing. We got the GameZilla truck now, so I'm ready to go off-roading. I'm ready to do all my dirt races now because I got something ready to go. So yeah, thanks again. And what a fun surprise! I mean, Butter Boy just getting that real estate, prime real estate.
I've just melted into the Forza world.
Yeah, I almost bought you Xbox Live again today. I'm not gonna lie. I almost locked it in and just handed you a sheet of paper and said, "Here's your gamer tag."
Oh man.
I'll probably do it when I can pre-order the system. Like when I can pre-order the system, I will then lock in the gamer tag, so that way there's not the chance that someone grabs onto it. Be like, cool, your gamer tag's set. Here's the pre-order. We'll see. I hope
there's some obese kid in the South who's about to get like an Easter gift of an Xbox, and he's like, "I'm the Butter Boy. That's gonna be my tag," and he snipes it before me.
Man, we'll find an alternate
because I was Bacon Boy 28 was my original email address, so I could see some 10-year-old kid wanting to be Butter Boy more than I do.
I don't know. I think it's all you, man. I think it's all you.
You and I can co-stream. I told you we can do it. Butter Boy and Butterball. We can do it.
All right.
Oh, or you could be Butter Boy and I could be Brown Butter Boy.
I don't know about brown butter. Sounds a little too dirty.
No, brown butter picks up a nice nutty flavor when you leave it in the skillet, just toast it.
Whoa!
I was thinking about brown butter in the toilet bowl.
Oh wow,
that's what I thought brown butter was.
Oh, he's talking about taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. No.
Well, it's time to cut this show.
Dear Lord. Anyways,
I didn't know brown butter was a thing. I'm a culinary idiot.
I want to thank everybody for hanging out live on Mixer.com/GameZilla Media every Monday night. We appreciate everybody that's here, the new followers, the sparks, all that stuff. We're bringing embers to you by next week, so get excited for that. And, of course, everybody listens to us on all the podcast outlets. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, give us 5 stars, leave us a review. We'll check it. We'll give you a shout out here live on the show. But we do appreciate all that. And of course, Deadite, give us one more thank you to our patrons.
Of course, we have to thank our patrons from patreon.com/GameZilla Media. If you dropped in Mixer, you enjoyed what you saw tonight, consider going over there and hooking us up with at least $1 a month, and you'll start receiving great exclusive benefits from the entire GameZilla Media team. And make sure you go to GameZillaMedia.com and give a listen to all of the amazing podcasts. We cover a lot of different subjects ranging from, of course, us, new gaming, all the way to action movies, tabletop gaming, The Simpsons, action movies, and more. It's all available for you. GameZillaMedia.com.
I like how you left out retro gaming. I really appreciate that.
I thought I said something about classic gaming.
Maybe you did. Anyways, I didn't hear. I know for sure I didn't hear it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not on my A game today. I don't know what to say.
Craig WK in the chat says, "Ouch."
I said Simpsons and tabletop gaming.
Yeah, you
right?
got 2 out of 3. Okay,
right.
pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I shoot from the hip. I don't hit the target every time. Craig.
Thank you everybody for hanging out on episode 295 of the GameZilla podcast. Remember, we are your elite free DLC for all your gaming news. And until next time, Butter Boy. Oh yeah, game on.
I've lost my soul.
There you go.
Dear God.
That's what I meant to do.